Okay, it didn't really have a game-changing finale like the SmackDown on Friday did, but as a go-home episode of Raw, we did get solid development in the women's WarGames match storyline, and we got one of the most realistic, believable, intense backstage conversations I've seen in wrestling in a long time. These are my assorted thoughts on the November 25th, 2024 WWE RAW. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event reviews, prediction videos like the one I have coming up right after this one, well, a few days actually, and assorted thoughts on SmackDown and Raw. Now, I have seen the last SmackDown. I've seen this Raw. It's now the 26th of November, 2024, around like 1:45 in the afternoon. I know there was a pre-taped SmackDown after the last one, but I have not seen any spoilers, so I'm coming in just like any regular TV viewer would. So let's start things off at the end of the show. Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax was a solid main event. Bianca was impressive, as she always was, lifting up Jax at one point, almost hitting a KOD, it looked great. Of course, Jax looked stronger, was poised to win by countout, I think. But yeah, I guess countout is perfectly fine to get the advantage. Then Bayley showed up, and she proved to Bianca that she really was a babyface by cheating for her. Interesting choice, but no, yeah, she obviously proved her worth to Bianca. She helped her out, helped her beat Nia, but Nia wasn't really cheating. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. Maybe Bayley is still going to be suspected. It might actually be the one who took out Jade Cargill. By the way, I heard Jade actually really is injured, so get well, Jade. But yeah, I mean, they didn't actually have like any of the other people from the Women's WarGames match. They were barred from ringside, so we only saw them in the backstage segment at the beginning. We only saw Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a backstage segment on this Raw, so they weren't even out in front of the crowd. Maybe they were in a dark match after the show. Maybe that's something for the local crowd. But I like this. I think it's good development. It's still murky enough, the fact that Bayley actually sort of cheated, so did a kind of a heel thing to prove she's a babyface, to prove she's on the side of Bianca, and Bianca seemed a little confused. I like how they're playing this. Bayley probably is going to be the fifth member of Team Rhea or Team Bianca, but there's going to be some doubt, especially with Io. They haven't really played up too much of the Io problem with Bayley, but they kind of did backstage. But this was a good end to the show. The babyface women's team has the advantage, which I think they've had for the past few years. So yeah, I liked how the show ended. As expected, Ludwig Kaiser versus Braun Breaker was a solid match. There were some kind of gnarly moments, like when Braun accidentally rammed himself into the announce table. That looked rough, but both people were intense. I was really into this match, but then also predictably, Sheamus interfered, caused the DQ, leading to a brawl that lasted the commercial break, and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce declaring a triple threat match, which of course was also very predictable. But still, even though I knew the whole match that this was going to happen, I was still able to enjoy the match. And while I definitely saw exactly what was going to happen after the commercial break, I'm glad it did, because I think this is going to be a great match at Survivor Series. Now, who wins this match? Well, I have a whole prediction video coming up on that. But a lot of this show was actually adding to the Survivor Series card. Like they announced this match. Also, they announced LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. I'm glad they did on this show, so I could include that in my prediction video. And the other main announcement is that there will be a Women's Intercontinental Championship. I don't know why they didn't do this during the show like they did on SmackDown, even just with Adam Pearce on camera. But no, he did it in the ring before the show, which was an interesting choice. But I kind of figured this was coming when it was only SmackDown stars competing for the Women's United States Championship. So I'm very happy. Can we just give it to Zelina Vega? Well, I mean, Bianca Belair is probably going to be in the tournament too because she had to leave the last one. Maybe even Io Sky is a contender for this one. They might put it on a main eventer first and then transfer it to a quote-unquote mid-carder, but I like the other ones for Chelsea Green. I think this is the one for Zelina Vega. My 2 cents anyways. I'm glad we got this. This was a good announcement. Stop the presses. Alpha Academy, Otis and Tozawa won a match. It was a televised match, like on TV. They actually 1, 2, 3, and it took a matter of seconds, and it was against the New Day. Now, that's obviously not the real headline here, but it's nice to see Otis and Tozawa get a televised victory. But of course, the real reason this happened was for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods' incredible backstage exchange. They've been teasing a New Day implosion or breakup ahead of or at their reunion for weeks, actually months now. And we're at the penultimate moment of that. Who knows? Maybe Big E's going to come in and save the day. We don't know. But this exchange, wow. It was a matter of they went there. Yes, they went there. They brought up Kofi losing to Brock Lesnar in 6 seconds. They brought up basically the history of the group and how both members have been seeing things without maybe telling the other person, the criticisms they've been building up for years. It felt real, believable. Like, I was impressed with both performances here. Like, this was really solid stuff. It's definitely one of the most believable, intense backstage segments I've seen in a while in wrestling, and one of the most heated exchanges that's believable that I've seen at least since Friday's Raw between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. That was in ring though. But wow. I didn't know it was going to be this solid, but it was. And I'm now really wondering what's going to happen next week. Excellent segment for both people involved. It made things feel real. Maybe because some of it was real. They were bringing the reality out in their exchange. Not sure where they're going with Gunther. For the second week in a row, he attacked Damian Priest instead of talking. And then Priest got the upper hand. This time, though, holding the championship. This does have me a bit confused. I mean, are they trying to make Gunther seem like the sympathetic underdog? Because that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, Priest, definitely, this is a good babyface turn. The crowd is behind him. Maybe they want people to actually think he's going to win, even though they all know he's not. So when he doesn't win and the old Gunther's back, it might actually be a surprise. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused by this one. I think it's an odd build-up, but it's a decent build-up for this match. And it actually makes me maybe a little bit more interested in the match that I otherwise wouldn't be. And the Judgment Day retained the tag championships. Finn Balor and JD McDonough are still the tag champions. I think this is their third defense or second defense maybe in several months. And wait for it, they did so by outside interference from Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. Now, the Viking Warriors, no, they're not the Viking Warriors, the War Raiders, the Viking Warriors, that was never a name. It was the I think it was War Party, then it was the War Raiders in NXT, then it was the Viking Experience under the previous administration, and then the Viking Warriors, and now the Viking Raiders, and now the War Raiders. Okay, they're back to the War, regardless. Okay, I like the way that team's going, and I was really hoping for them to win. Now, it'd be nice to see them as the tag champions, but honestly, it would be nice to see anyone other than these two members of Judgment Day holding the tag titles. At this point, I don't care who wins. I just want them to lose. I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons they did it this way. Maybe they're going to get heat just by never defending the titles and then just winning by cheating the exact same way. It's almost like people are getting mad at the booking rather than at the guys, but maybe that's part of the thing. Nikki Cross showing up behind Scarlett was as creepy as it was corny. I kind of like this Wyatt 6 versus Final Testament and Miz storyline. I think this was just sort of a little pit stop to remind everyone it's still happening. Wasn't anything major. It was okay. And Julius Creed pinned Rey Mysterio. Yeah, he did so with interference from Chad Gable while the referee was distracted. But still, I mean, that's something. At least they're giving the Creed something. They're trying to make American Alpha mean something more, maybe after the last exchange with the Wyatts. I'm interested in this story. It definitely feels very mid-card, and I know Rey Mysterio is not a mid-carder, but sometimes he is, but feels very mid-card. But I like this match. It was a good match. And yeah, that's something you can, put in your notebook that like he actually pinned the Hall of Famer. So that's something there. I don't think Chad Gable did. Has Gable pinned Rey Mysterio? I don't know. I should probably follow the story a little bit more. It is getting interesting, but it was decent here. And these were my assorted thoughts on the November 25th, 2024 WWE RAW. While not as wow, knock your socks off like SmackDown was, this RAW was a decent go home. Set some stuff up, made some important announcements for some matches and the championship. And of course, there was that New Day exchange. That was wow. Do you agree with my thoughts? Let me know what you think in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. I will be back with my prediction video for Survivor Series WarGames. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.